she believes her audience is ignorant.
Yeah.
She can't be that stupid because that's not what's happening, okay? The Ralphs and the Publix are not getting together
right
to control the pricing. You know, it's like you said, I imported the chickens from someplace. We were in Dubai. 90% of their food supply is imported, okay? 90% of it has none of the ingredients that we have. Okay, the foods were better, they were fresher. I never felt, bloated or so. And you go to France, see the same thing. So I don't think anybody's behind the scenes trying to control pricing. Banks control pricing, interest rates, mortgage applications. The SEC controls who can actually invest in new projects with accredited and unaccredited. I mean, if she really wanted to talk about some of those issues, the SEC is probably the most racist organization in America. Because if you don't make 200 grand, all your guys that don't make 200 grand cannot invest in my projects.
It's a crazy world, crazy world. Somebody's gotta have to save you. It's a crazy world. It's a crazy world. Somebody's gotta have to save you.
So basically, in essence, they would want to keep virtually everybody that does not own a home now out of home ownership, because that really is the key to unlocking the rest of your wealth, in essence.
Yeah. And so, how do you do that? You keep interest rates really high. But the problem in this country is 70% of all the loans across all housing in this country is below 4%. 31% of all the homes are paid for in cash. So you have, unlike other countries, you have all this wealth sitting. Jared right here has a 2.7% loan, and it doesn't expire for 27 years. So he has no impetus, no stimulus. His loan is probably worth more than the house is. It's probably got more profit because of the loan package than the actual house. So until interest rates breach 4%, this is what Kamala doesn't understand. She either doesn't understand it, she could be financially illiterate. She has an economics degree, but I know
it's a little of everything.
Or she believes her voters are, which is worse.
Well, that one for sure.
That's the worst.
Yeah.
And so somebody needs to sit down with her and say, look, when rates breach 4%, you will have so much home activity in this country. Number one, prices will come down more than $25,000. You will have prices drop in order for him to move to the next house. He wants to go to a $6 million house next from his $3 million house. He can't make that move right now because his rate's going to go from 2.7 to 7.
Yep.
And so his interest rate on the same money would be, his payment would be triple. And that's what's happened in this country. Interest rates tripled. Rents are going to continue to explode if somebody doesn't handle this. Unaffordable housing is over. There's no such thing as it. It will never happen again in our lifetime. You will never see affordable housing. And the government just needs to tell people the truth. The solution is to take all the 4 million houses that were short. We don't actually have a housing shortage. We have a desirable housing shortage.
Right.
That's why they're tearing down all these $3 million houses around here.
Yeah.
Because they want a new house. There are 45 million apartments in America with about a 10% vacancy. That would be if I was the president, okay, or if I was the head of the housing authority, I would give an incentive to apartment owners and say, rent that unit, rent your vacancy, make a deal. It'll be tax revenue zero to you. And we could give 4.2 million people housing before the end of the month and solve the problem without the tax revenues being affected or your taxes being affected.
But in essence, they don't want to solve the problem for the reasons that you just laid out there.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I don't know why they don't want to solve problems. I mean, maybe they have so many problems in the government that they can't solve problems. I just know every time they touch anything, they fuck it all up. So
I want to bring up another one that from a clip we played on the show this morning. Kamala has been big on the idea of that the grocery stores are price gouging.
Yeah.
And she'd like to put some controls in to explain that. I keep trying to use a very simple analogy with people that it has nothing to do with the evil corporations deciding suddenly because Democrats are in power, they want to raise prices. But this is just what runs through the economy from the chicken feed all the way to the gas to get the eggs to the store.
Yeah.
Again, well, I guess I know your answer, but it's like,
What?
what do you think they're thinking?
She should be talking about MasterCard and Visa, not the grocery store, because the profit margin at MasterCard is like 51%. I think Visa's like sitting at like 48 or something. It's a crazy, man. We have the highest interest rates at the highest level of interest in the history of plastic. Those two guys are monopolies. American Express is a distant third. That's a much bigger issue for me that people are depending upon, credit cards.
Mm-hmm.
And the second thing about the food supply, the food is she needs to be concerned about the food supply, not the food prices.
Mm-hmm.
Because if people quit buying bacon, the price of bacon will go down. Inflation is not caused. It could be caused by a supply chain, right? But if I don't want the product and nobody buys the product, the price will come down.
Does it strike you as just kind of like the simplest, most idiotic messaging? That's what it seems like to me. Like, oh, yes, it's the evil corporations that want to tack on the dollar.
That's the game, bro. She believes her audience is ignorant.
Yeah.
She can't be that stupid because that's not what's happening, okay? The Ralphs and the Publix are not getting together
right
to control the pricing. It's like you said, I imported the chickens from someplace. We were in Dubai. 90% of their food supply is imported. Okay. 90% of it has none of the ingredients that we have. Okay. The foods were better. They were fresher. I never felt, bloated and you go to France, see the same thing. So, I don't think anybody's behind the scenes trying to control pricing. Banks control pricing, interest rates, mortgage applications. The SEC controls who can actually invest in new projects with accredited, not unaccredited. I mean, if she really wanted to talk about some of those issues, the SEC is probably the most racist organization in America. Because if you don't make 200 grand, all your guys that don't make 200 grand cannot invest in my projects. Only until you breach.
Oh, to be an accredited investor.
To be accredited.
Yeah.
So the non-accredited, 98% of America is non-accredited. They don't qualify to look at other.
What's even the thinking behind that? I mean, do you think that's actually a rate? Was it created as a racist notion originally?
To protect.
It's supposedly to protect
the people that actually need the investment.
Right.
It's not. It's to protect Wall Street.
Right.
The SEC was put in place by Wall Street. So Merrill Lynch wants that. Merrill Lynch has got $7 trillion under management. Fidelity, $7 trillion. Vanguard, $11 trillion. Like this protected a handful. That's why I'm telling you, I think the rates are to squash and make our banking system smaller and bigger.
If you suffer from daily pain, I need you to listen to this message very carefully. What we know about pain relief is changing forever. As we age, aches and pains are normal, and we are all searching for effective ways to relieve pain without side effects and addiction. Let's be frank, we've all seen the horrors of the opioid crisis. You may even be affected personally. Hear me when I say this. Conalonidine is absolutely the future of pain relief. So whatever you do, make sure to click the link below and check out Dr. Clint's amazing informative report on Conalonidine and how it's changing lives by providing safe and powerful relief at 1/10 of the cost of pain pills. Now here's the best part. When you click the link below, you can access the only Conalonidine product in the world for less than $1 per day. Clint has provided this private link until midnight tonight. You are days away from finally being pain-free forever. Go to trycano.com/Rubin and see for yourself. How much of this do you just blame on the education system that really no one knows this? I get emails all the time because we don't do a ton on this type of, this granular economic stuff. Yeah. But I get tons of emails from people being like, I did not learn anything about credit cards or interest rates or anything in high school or even in college. And then they get out into the real world and they have no freaking clue what to do. Yeah.
Well, the way me and Cuban started talking is I sent a letter to Kamala and to Trump and said, look, America needs a wealth education, not financial literacy. They need wealth education because every person in America should be rich.
Well, how do you differentiate those two things?
Well, financial literacy is, okay, don't spend more money than you earn. Wealth education is things that people that I've learned. I didn't want to say people like me, but that you learn as you're creating wealth.
Yeah.
Right. Once you start creating wealth, you're like, oh shit, there's this tax hack. I don't have to pay taxes on the sale of this piece of property. So I can move this $3 million gain. First of all, I didn't buy a house. Went and bought 16 units rather than one house that made $3 million. and I had income. That's a wealth hack, right? That's not financial literacy. We're going beyond that.
Right.
And financial literacy is not the problem in this country. In this country, financial indoctrination is the issue. We've been indoctrinated to benefit banks, save your money. Okay, all the money you've ever made, none of it came from saving. It came because you made a move. You actually used money.
For more insightful discussions on how to live the good life, check out our lifestyle playlist. And if you want to watch full interviews on a variety of topics, watch our full episode playlist, all right over here. And to get notified of all future videos, be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell.